We're going to move on with a look at what's grabbing headlines around the world with Flo. Hi there, Flo. Welcome back. We're going to start off with what's been going on in Brussels. We're talking about the pan-European Union response to security issues here in Europe.
That's right. It was the first high-level European Union meeting since those attacks in Paris, the Charlie Hebdo attacks. Of course, lots of papers are reporting about this. The Independent talks about the EU's united front against terrorism. So this European effort to basically boost intelligence cooperation. One thing they also put forward was that they wanted to push for controversial data sharing legislation and other measures like including cooperation with Arab states. Lots of things to try and have a united effort against this growing threat that a lot of people say of terrorism. Now, there's another interesting article that comes in the Wall Street Journal today that says that there's a lack of coordination between EU countries, and all this is compounded by another obstacle, and that is borderless travel across most of the European Union. So we're talking, of course, about the Schengen Agreement, which allows people and goods to flow freely between most EU countries. It's quite controversial at the moment. Now, this article says that terror suspects are exploiting the ease of travel across the continent to stay one step ahead of authorities. And you can see here the headline is quite striking. It says that Europe's ease of travel helps extremists move and cover their tracks.
Well, it doesn't stop them in any case. This is something that the far-right Front National leader, Marine Le Pen, has been quite vocal about in the immediate wake of these attacks in Paris, in fact. And she's been speaking to the New York Times.
That's right. She wrote an op-ed piece in the New York Times on Sunday. I'm going to tell you about it today because it's still getting a lot of attention. She once again lashed out against the dogma of this free movement of people and goods. This is a mistake, according to her. And she also lashes out against François Hollande's government for being in denial as to what is actually happening right now. You can see the headline. It says, to call this threat by its name, France was attacked by Islamic fundamentalism.
Well, she said that France is at war with Islamic fundamentalism.
That's right.
She's got even further in the past.
Very striking words here in this editorial. This editorial actually is in English and in French on the website, if you're interested. Now, you can see perhaps in the beginning, she quotes the French philosopher Albert Camus. Basically, she says, to misname things is to add to the world's unhappiness. Now, she's gotten a little bit of flack in the French media because she misquoted Albert Camus. He actually said something very similar to this, but let's take a look at Slate, the French version. They say that with a very simple Google search, she could have found out this exact quote actually belongs to another French philosopher, Brice Parent. So a little bit of a flack there for Marine Le Pen.
And of course, here in France, you all learn philosophy at school. So there's a lot of people who probably picked up on that mistake as well. Well, we're going to stay with things that are going on stateside. Papers there focusing on President Barack Obama. He's getting ready for that big State of the Union address.
That's right. According to Slate, this time the English version, it says that Obama's approval rating is going up ahead of this State of the Union address. A Washington Post ABC poll released yesterday says that his approval rating stands at 50%. So the highest it's been since May 2013.
Do they say why?
Yes, they do, actually. They say that a lot of this has to do with improving perceptions about the U.S. economy and general optimism in the U.S. So good news for Obama. I picked out another interesting article, this time in the Washington Post, though, that wonders, do we still need a State of the Union address? And the short answer is no, according to this article. This article says that the utility of the State of the Union address, basically to inform Congress and the U.S. public about what's going on, has really declined over time, especially in the modern day of Twitter, etc. Recently, for instance, Obama announced his community college proposal on Vine and his immigration plan on Facebook. So, according to this article, the State of the Union address is basically part of the pomp and circumstance of Washington that is a skeleton of the past.
Oh, but we like a bit of pomp and circumstance, don't we? Yeah, chance to dress up, that kind of thing.
Soundbite, so.
Yeah. Well, let's move a little bit further south, staying with the Americas. We're looking to papers in Argentina. Now, this is a very intriguing case. The death of the prosecutor, Alberto Nisman, found shot dead in his bathroom on Sunday night with a gun lying beside him.
That's right. Very mysterious story, as you can imagine, getting a lot of attention, especially in the press in Argentina. Now, officials say that no evidence has been found that anyone else was involved in his death. But what you can see here in this article in Clarín, Clarín is one of the leading papers in Argentina, is a photo of a protest that was triggered following the news of his death. There were several protests actually across the country, this one in Buenos Aires. Basically, demonstrators were calling for an independent investigation because he, after all, had been investigating into the 1994 bombing of a Jewish center in Buenos Aires that had left 85 people dead. And recently, he had actually accused the president, Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner, of being involved in a plot to cover up Iran's alleged role. So, very mysterious story. The president herself has taken to Facebook to comment on this mysterious death. She has pointed to the hypothesis of a suicide, but she's also cast some doubt. You can read about it here in another Argentinian paper, La Nación. She says that the death of a person always causes pain and loss, but it also raises questions. She wonders what was it that led a person to make the terrible decision to take his own life.
Very intriguing case indeed. I'm sure we'll look forward to many more details coming out on that story in the days to come. Thanks very much for now. Flo Villamino there, looking through the international papers.